Moreover, it's moving in the opposite direction to the motion of the Earth around the Sun, and when it will come closest to the Sun, the Earth would be on the opposite side, so we won't be able to observe it. That's the point in
For centuries, humanity has gazed into the night sky, convinced that we understood the basic rhythm of the universe. Stars burn, planets orbit, streaked by with their familiar, glowing tails. The rules felt solid, like the very gravity that holds us to the Earth. But every once in a while, something arrives from the deep black between the stars, and suddenly the rules don't look so certain. In 2017, it was Oumuamua, a cigar-shaped enigma that baffled astronomers, with its strange acceleration and lack of a cometary tail. In 2019, it was Borisov, which behaved more like a typical comet, reassuring in its familiarity. And now, in 2025, we face something else, an object so strange, so troubling, that even Nobel Prize winning scientists are beginning to ask the unthinkable. Its name is 3I, Atlas, and the disturbing truth about this interstellar visitor may force us to question whether we are truly alone, or whether humanity is being quietly observed. 3.1 ATLAS was first detected on July 1st, 2025 by a robotic observatory in Chile, part of NASA's Atlas network. At first, it was just a faint blip against the stars, tagged with the temporary catalog number. But very quickly, it became clear that this was no ordinary comet. Its path was not a closed ellipse around the Sun, but a hyperbola, an open-ended trajectory, proof that it had come from interstellar space. The third interstellar object ever seen, the 3I, and its name marks its historic place. After Oumuamua and Borisov, here was our third messenger from the stars. At first glance, scientists might have been reassured Borisov, after all, turned out to be just another comet, even if it came from another star system. Perhaps Atlas would be the same, but the deeper the observations went, the stranger the story became. This object was already glowing and active even when it was 4.5 astronomical units from the Sun, out beyond Jupiter's orbit. A normal comet, made mostly of water ice, would remain frozen and dormant at that distance. To flare up so far out meant that Atlas must contain exotic ices, substances like carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide that vaporize at much lower temperatures. That alone made it unusual. But then came the speed. Atlas is hurtling through the solar system at nearly 210,000 kilometers per hour, around 130,000 miles per hour. That is not speed picked up from the Sun's gravity. That is the speed it carried from the deep interstellar void, a momentum built up over millions, maybe billions of years. NUDGED, bypassing stars and galactic tides. It is, quite literally, a ghost from another corner of the galaxy. Then on July 21st, the Hubble Space Telescope turned its powerful eye on the intruder. The image it captured stunned astronomers. Atlas appeared wrapped in a teardrop-shaped shroud of dust, with hints of a tail. But some scientists noticed something they could not easily explain: a diffuse glow ahead of the object, pointing not away from the Sun, but toward it. For anyone who knows celestial mechanics, this is profoundly strange. A comet's tail always points away from the Sun, pushed by the solar wind and radiation pressure. A forward-facing emission would be like seeing a boat leave its wake, not behind it, but in front of its bow. Was this merely an artifact of the data, or was something more troubling happening here? It is at this point that the debate split wide open. Mainstream scientists searched for natural explanations. Perhaps Atlas rotates very slowly, creating a permanent dayside that superheats and vents material forward, almost like aircat exhaust. Or perhaps unusual chemistry is at play, producing jet-soaked gas that mimic all forward glow. Yet the spectra, the chemical fingerprints of its light, posed their own puzzles. Water vapor was present, but certain expected gases were strangely absent. The pieces didn't quite fit, and so others began to whisper what many consider unthinkable. Professor Unveiled of Harvard, already famous for suggesting that Oumuamua might be artificial, pointed out that Atlas combined several anomalies: unusual early activity, extreme velocity, and ODDLY, interpreted forward emission. When a single object breaks one expectation, we assume nature is trickier than we thought. But when an object breaks 3, 4, 5 expectations, should we not at least consider the possibility that it is not natural at all? Could 3I Atlas, like Oumuamua before it, be a probe, sent deliberately or accidentally by another intelligence? To raise such a question is controversial, and yet Nobel Prize winning physicists have begun to comment, not always dismissively. Some suggest that, at the very least, Atlas is testing the limits of our models, forcing us to admit how fragile our understanding really is. Others go further, arguing that the odd glow might not be a natural plume at all, but a deliberate protective cloud deployed by aircraft moving at terrifying speed through a universe filled with dust and debris, a cosmic shield, rather than a cometary tale. Outrageous, perhaps, but remember, less than a century ago, the very idea of galaxies beyond the Milky Way was ridiculed. Science advances by confronting the uncomfortable. Meanwhile, conspiracy whispers grow. Why has NASA's public tone been so restrained, almost cautious? Why do official descriptions focus on the familiar dust, ice tails, while avoiding direct commentary on the anomalies? Could it be that the full implications of Atlas are being quietly downplayed to avoid panic? After all, the last time an interstellar object, Oumuamua, entered our system, its unexplained acceleration triggered heated arguments across astronomy. Governments watched closely. Intelligence agencies, too. If Atlas proves stranger still, would the powers that be truly tell us everything? But beyond the scientific and political intrigue lies something even deeper. Throughout history, humanity has viewed comets as omens, messengers, harbingers of change. Ancient chronicles record comets appearing before the fall of kings, before plagues, before wars. Of course, we now know comets are natural, and yet, here again, from the deep between the stars, comes a messenger that defies our expectations. Is the universe once again speaking to us in symbols? Is 3i Atlas simply frozen rock and ice? Or is it on some level we can barely articulate, a mirror held up to our own fears and hopes, a reminder that the cosmos is stranger than we dare imagine? Atlas will make its close saint approach to the sun on October 30th, 2025. As it heats up, its activity should increase, potentially revealing more secrets. The James Webb Space Telescope is already scheduled to observe it, peeling apart its light with its infrared spectrographs to determine its exact composition. Will it match the comets of our solar system, or reveal exotic chemistry never seen before? Other observatories from Swift to TESS will track its movements with exquisite precision, searching for tiny deviations that gravity alone cannot explain. If Atlas shows the same gravitational acceleration that made Oumuamua so mysterious, the debate will explode, and there are even proposals, bold and desperate, to redirect spacecraft like Juno for a possible intercept. The chances are slim, but imagine what humanity might learn if we could see this object up close, if we could confirm, once and for all, whether it is natural or something else. In the end, Atlas forces us to confront a profound question. What would it mean if we are being watched? Not invaded, not contacted, but quietly observed, our civilization noted, logged and passed by as just one. More curiosity in the galaxy? Some argue that would be the most like life form of first contact. Not a grand landing, but Aslan flyby, oprobe that comes and goes, leaving us shaken, uncertain, and humbled. And even if Atlas is natural, even if every anomaly finds Amadean explanation, it has already served as such a messenger. It has reminded us that the universe is vast, that our understanding is fragile, and that the next discovery could overturn everything. This is why Nobel winners are breaking their silence, not because they know Atlas is alien, but because they recognize that something fundamental is at stake. The very framework of how we interpret the cosmos. Each strange detail pushes us closer to admitting what we have long avoided, that the universe is stranger, and perhaps more populated than we ever dared believe. And so we wait, as Atlas races toward the sun. Every telescope we have will follow, every image, every spectrum, every flicker of light will be scrutinized. Perhaps we will emerge with added explanation, another chapter in the growing book of cometary science. Or perhaps, like Oumuamua before it, Atlas will leave us only with questions, tantalizing and unresolved, fading back into the night as quickly as it came. But one thing is certain, this visitor has already changed us. It has forced us to look up once more with wonder, with fear, with hope. And it has reminded us that humanity, for all its achievements, still stands on the shore of a vast, dark ocean, watching as strange ships pass silently by. So, what do you think? Is 3IATLAS merely an unusual comet, a natural curiosity from the depths of interstellar space? Or is it something else, an artifact? A probe, a sign that we are not alone? Whatever the answer, the truth is disturbing, and as new data pours in, we'll be here to follow every twist of the story. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you don't miss what may be the most important cosmic revelation of our time. And before we let this cosmic mystery slip back into the darkness of interstellar space, one final note: the universe is not done surprising us, and neither are we. Here at Nebula Veil, we dive into the hidden stories of the cosmos, the questions that shake our science, and the mysteries that might just connect us to something far greater. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, help us keep exploring by subscribing, turning on notifications, and sharing your thoughts below. Every voice adds to the search for truth, and together we can pierce the veil of the UNIVERSE, one story at a time.